Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, I want to share with you the Moola Mantra, which is a mantra that I enjoy a lot and do on a regular basis. This is one of the more powerful ones that evokes a feeling of, just like this omnipotent peace that comes over you. It's so beautiful and so powerful. And so it's in Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is, as far as we know, probably the most ancient language on the planet. And so it's pronounced Om Satchit Ananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatama Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha. And this mantra evokes the living God, asking protection and freedom from all sorrow and suffering. It's a prayer that adorns the great Creator and Liberator who, out of love and compassion, manifests to protect us in an earthly form. This Moola Mantra has given peace and joy to people all over the world who have chanted it or even listened to it. It has the power to transport one's mind to this state of causeless love and limitless joy. The calmness that the mantra can give is to be experienced, not spoken about, so you have to actually do it. And in traditional manner, you would have prayer beads, mala beads, and there's 108 of them, so typically you would do repetitions of 108. And up to 1,080 repetitions. So it's up to you how much you want to do at any given time. Typically, we just go through it once, and we have a group of favorite ones that we do most days. Anywhere between 3 and 6 of them, depending on time and what's going on. And sometimes we'll sit with one mantra and just do it over and over again.
It depends on how, usually with me, sometimes they'll remove blocks and I might even start to cry, or I might get a extra feeling or something. And then if I start to cry, that mantra is removing blocks for me, which is much needed. So then we'll do it again.
Yeah, and that's what happens in energy sessions as well. Often, when you're doing energy on somebody, a lot of times a blockage will go and there'll be a release of energy, and often people will just start to cry, but it's a good cry.
It's a wonderful cry. You might not know what it's about, or you might laugh, you might giggle, but it's a release of energy. Something diffuses that energy, gets it unstuck. So lots of this, this energy work that we do, it will remove blocks. And sometimes it might take, a week or 2 weeks, but many times it happens that day.
Yeah, so as it says, it's true. You really have to experience it. Each mantra has its own energy signature, its own results. Each one influences different chakras, energy centers in different ways. So as it says, again, this calmness has to be experienced and not spoken about. Dear reader, here is the key to which any door to spiritual treasure could be opened, a tool which can be used to achieve all desires, a medicine which cures all ills. The nectar that can set man free, all auspiciousness and serenity is yours simply by chanting or listening to this magnificent Moola Mantra. So even when you chant it without knowing the meaning of it, it still carries power. But when you know the meaning and you are chanting it with the feeling in your heart, then the energy will flow 1,000,000 times more powerful. So it's essential to really know the meaning of the mantra that you are using. And the mantra is like calling a name, and that is for sure true. Wouldn't you say, Cindy?
It's like picking up the phone and making a phone call, you bet.
Most definitely. And that's what it says right here. Just like when you call a person, he comes to you and makes you feel his presence. The same manner when you chant this mantra, the supreme energy manifests everywhere around you. As the universe is omnipresent, the supreme energy can manifest anywhere at any time. It's also very important to know that the invocation, know it with all humility, respect, and with great necessity. It will make the presence stronger. So a simplified meaning of this: Om is, we are calling on the highest energy of all that there is. Om is the primordial sound. And of course, Om is key to all the Vedic philosophies and religions. Sat is the formless. Chit is consciousness of the universe. Ananda is pure love, bliss, and joy. Parabrahma is the supreme creator. Purushottama is who has incarnated in human form to help guide mankind. as we know of avatars. So when we talk about, say, the incarnations of Vishnu, and we're talking about Rama, and we're talking about Krishna, and we're talking about Kalki, who is to come. And there's also been incarnations of Shiva, such as Babaji. And of course, we could look at Christ as well as an incarnation of Source. And Paramatma, who comes to me in my heart and becomes my inner voice whenever I ask. And then we have Sri Bhagavati, the Divine Mother, the power aspect of creation. So this is where there's balance on, throughout the Vedic tradition, spreading out into all the ones that came out of Hinduism, including, looking at Buddhism and many other forms of different religious philosophy that we've seen with like Guru Nanak and Sikhism and Jainism. So many come out of the roots of Hinduism. And so it's given respect to the Divine Mother, and then Sameta together within Sri Bhagavate, the Father of creation, which is unchangeable and permanent. So there's the yin and the yang. And then Namaha, which is I thank you and acknowledge this presence in my life, and I ask for your guidance at all times. And then over here we have the full meanings, and as we're saying, Om has over 100 different meanings, and it really covers a lot of things. So I'll give you guys these links. There's a couple other takes on this, which are basically very, very similar. And this, along with the Gayatri Mantra, are two that to me feel extremely complete. How would you describe this in the Gayatri Mantra?
Oh, complete is a beautiful word. I think complete, whole. It's a nice yin yang balance kind of like thing. It's just, when you after you do them, you feel like you're ready to get up and start your day.
Yeah, so if you are, out of sorts, if you're feeling ungrounded, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious, it's amazing what these can do to remove anxiety and put you in just a really good state of mind, and also just change your own energy. It's amazing.
It completely changes your energy. Usually, before you're halfway through with the whole mantra, either one, you might even forget what you were worried about or thinking of, or you might forget about the feelings you were having. Puts you in a different state of being.
And then also you say often is that you went to the in-between, which is, and it's a beautiful thing to experience. And that's something that has to be experienced. But I mean, could you put that into words when you go into the in-between?
When I go in the in-between, I don't really know that I go there until after we're done doing the mantras. I realize that I must have skipped at least 30 of them at some point. I went somewhere, and it's just this blissful, forgetful feeling. Gosh, it's so hard to explain.
Would you maybe explain it as being in a state of love, yet to the point where you're almost losing your sense of yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah, because I don't remember going there, but after I know that I went there, it's like I can grasp that saved or gathered energy. It's really hard to articulate, but it's a beautiful thing. You definitely want to go to the in-between.
And this is, part of the goal is to get to that state of divine bliss where it's kind of like a little bit of an ecstasy trip, and I don't mean the pill ecstasy. It's the experience of ecstasy. It's the experience of oneness. You touch the oneness where the self kind of melts away a little bit, and that means that the worries, the anxieties, the fear, all the negative emotions, they kind of just they disappear, and all there is that beautiful bliss.
Yeah, it's just all like Michael says, all of your worries just dissipate. There is nothing to the point where you come back from it and you don't really know that you were there until you get back, which is, there is no drug that can compare to that. It's wonderful, and it's good for your brain. It rebuilds your brain.
Yeah, definitely you are going into a state of being where your body can repair, the rest and digest side of the sympathetic, of the nervous system. The parasympathetic is taking over and is repairing, and it's more than that though. It's a state of union, and yoga is union, and you can achieve this through other means. But for me, I have found the mantras to be absolutely blissful, and they are my number one tool at resetting my energy. So, if I'm waking up in the morning and, there's anxieties and there's pressures and stuff, going through this changes everything so that I could operate on a much higher state, not necessarily more efficient per se in this world, but at a higher state of being where everything I'm doing is coming out of more of a unity consciousness and a love-based, compassion-based center.
That's where you want to be. You want to go at everything at a love-based center, exactly like Michael said, so that way you're not making mistakes. You're level-headed. You're with it. You have a grasp on things. So making a decision from that standpoint is probably one of the biggest things you could do to change your life.
Most definitely. So I like to start our day by doing our QiGong practice, and then we do some standing meditation, which draws in the life force, and then we sit and do our mantras, and then we go to start to work and do other things. And that way, we set the tone. Yeah, we've gotten rid of a lot of baggage by doing it this way, so that we're operating out of what we might call our higher self a lot more.
And one thing I might add, when I first started doing them, I didn't have a lot of time. It was really hard to find time in the day, but it was so important that I do this, that I set my alarm an hour and a half before everybody woke up so that I could do them. It made that much of a difference in my life, and it was worth every minute.
So this is Deva Premal, who is like one of my favorite artists, and she's got a amazing voice doing the Moola Mantra, and I'll include that. And then here we have a more traditional take on the Moola Mantra as well, with the lyrics and the meanings. So I'll include both of those for you as well. There are hundreds of mantras, and they all affect you in a different way. But what I'll share is that I have found them to be the most transformative thing, I think, as far as a practice that I've experienced out of any tradition. And, I've explored a lot of different traditions. I've been to, 50 to 100 different churches in my lifetime, and explored every aspect of Christianity. I've been to a Jewish temple multiple times as well, taken in those ceremonies. I've been to Buddhist temples. I've taken part in pagan and Wiccan ceremonies as well. And, everything has its own beauty and its own value, and each person's unique. For me, I've found these to be the most transformative thing that connects me straight to what I view as source, the quickest way, and it's the most tangible thing that I've felt, and most tangible change in my life as well.
And it's worth everything you can do to get these mantras into your life, and get the energy changed. You're not going to be sorry. You're going to be, it's life changing. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it for anybody to create that time to do these.
Yeah, so my friends, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your support over on Patreon. Grow with our family over there as well. Or thank you also for your support on Ko-Fi. May you guys always be blessed with abundant love, peace, happiness, and all wonderful things. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.